energetic, exciting, rooms like this full of enthusiastic supporters of Bernie. It's so terrifying to so many people. The reason that is terrifying to so many people is because rooms like this have delivered 6,000 more votes in Iowa for Bernie to be able to win. Rooms like this amplify what this campaign is about. Rooms like this show our opponents and this country that people-centered power is what is going to get us the America we're fighting for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because rooms like this are full of organizers, movement builders, and people who fully understand how to utilize their power. This election cycle is about us. It's about us showing up for ourselves. It's about us showing up for our neighbors. It's about us showing up for our community. It's about us showing up for our state. And it's about us showing up for our country. There are too many people who will tell you that our dreams are lofty. They will tell you the America we're fighting for is not possible. They will tell you that Bernie is not liked by many people. They will tell you that what he's fighting for, what we're fighting for, is radical. But if fighting for housing for all is radical, if guaranteeing health care to every single American is radical, if ending our endless wars is radical, if fighting for a dignified life in Puerto Rico, in Minneapolis, in DC, in Las Vegas is radical, then sign us up. Yeah. Because I want to be radical. I want to be moved by radical love for my neighbors, for the future of my children, for the future of our nation, and for the future of our world. When we think about the kind of crises that we have around the world with the conflicts that get created because of corporate greed, because of our interventionalist mentality, because of our imperialistic worldviews, because of our constant decisions on putting particular value on certain people's lives, then we are okay with being radical and okay with being moved by the radical love that says, I want to live amongst neighbors who are able to earn enough to put food on the table and roof over their heads. Yes. I want to be moved by the radical love that says everybody deserves to have a clean water and breathable air.
Yes. Yes.
The radical love that says our sons and daughters should not constantly be prepared to go to fight another man's war. Right. Yes. I want to be moved by the radical love that says we should be funding our schools, our healthcare systems. We should be caring for our homeless folks. We should be taking care of our veterans. instead of putting millions and billions of dollars in preparing for war.
Right.
Exactly.
Because this is a campaign that is centered on the idea, on the fundamental idea that in order for me to have a better life, I must wish it for everyone else.
Yes.
That's what solidarity is about. When unions organize, they don't organize for one worker. They organize for all workers to have a dignified living wage and a dignified workplace. So when we organize, we're organizing for everyone, not just for ourselves. When we think about what it looks like for us to create an environment where all of us could thrive, it means we need policies that center people and not corporations, not the special interest, not money going into the pockets of the fossil fuel industry, not electing people who are beholden to special interests, but electing people who don't take a penny from corporations.
Yeah!
You'll also hear this election cycle about viability, about electability. You will hear about the kind of money that we need to have in order to defeat dangerous Donald. We know we have a candidate who is building a multi-ethnicity, multiracial, multi-religious, working class movement. That is what is going to take for us to get rid of dangerous Donald.
Yeah!
We know we have a candidate that has raised $30 million more than any of his primary opponents. That's Bernie, and that is who is going to get rid of dangerous Donald. We recently heard about the state of our union. The state of our union is disturbed. The state of our union is divisive. The state of our union is disconnected. And the state of our union is as dangerous as is dangerous Donald. If we collectively work together, we will have an opportunity to push the reset button and restart a new era where all of us are not disconnected but united. Where there is no division but solidarity. Where there is no politics of me but us. Where we are collectively invested in the fight for a better America. So I made the trip to come out here because I am energized by what we have been able to do in Iowa.
Yeah!
In Iowa, although they might have been doing quality control, we were doing the work of organizing.
Yes!
We were doing the work of talking to people that often are not thought of when we are organizing for elections. And that is why That is why at every Sarahite caucus location, Bernie won almost 100% of the delegates. That is caucus goers for the first time who are Latino, Latinx, that's Ethiopians, Eritreans, Somalis, Sudanese immigrants. That is Muslims who for the first time got 5 mosques as because getting those people involved gets us to have a democracy that is inclusive, that looks like America. And we know that now that they are maybe finished with their quality control, they are seeing that the results show that Bernie got more votes with women. Bernie got more votes with people of color. Bernie got more votes with the working class. With people who are barely making, people who are in poverty, and people who are living below poverty. Because, like I said at one of the mosques I spoke at in Iowa, Bernie's campaign allows for all of us to be seen. When Bernie talks about us, we are all included in that us. There is no one left, right? We're not leaving behind the immigrants. We're not leaving behind the women. We're not leaving behind the ethnic diversity of our nation. We're not leaving behind the religious diversity of our nation. We're not leaving behind people because they are poor. We are actively engaging them and giving them an invitation to be as powerful as they can be, because the soul of this democracy is not restored without them. And no matter how many times people say that this election is only about restoring our democracy, it's about restarting this democracy. It's about igniting a new kind of energy in people. It's about making people realize that not only can we get a president who is responsive to the people, but we can get a Congress in the House, in the Senate, that is responsive to the people. And we can have a cabinet that is not corrupt, but correct. And Bernie can be that candidate who wins the votes of every single person who came out for dangerous Donald because they thought he was going to clean the swamp, even though he's drowning in the swamp. Because Bernie is a candidate who has receipts. Bernie is a candidate who throughout his entire political career has stood up for the people, stood up against the abuses of power, who has taken on Wall Street, someone who recognizes that in order for us to have a dignified life, for us to have an America we can all be proud of, power needs to be restored to the people. And while many are invested in taking our power away, in regards to getting rid of women's autonomy to their bodies, in regards to getting rid of the ability for unions to continue to organize, in regards to disenfranchising more people for not to have the opportunity to cast their ballot. Bernie understands that we can only be as great as we can be when people have the freedom to vote, when people have full autonomy of their bodies, and when people have a recognition of their power and understand that accountability and transparency is the cornerstone of this democracy. So I'm excited for a President Bernie. But I'm even more excited about the power builders that are in this room. The organizers that are in this room. The table shakers that are in this room. The agitators that are in this room. The radicals that are in this room. Because we don't get the America we're fighting for without you. So thank you so much for showing up. Have fun on the phone calls. Have fun with your phone call. I just did call time, so it's a pretty exciting thing to do. Have fun with that, and have fun at the doors. Because what you are getting to do is the most noble thing anybody can do in a democracy. I was raised by people who were denied the right to vote, who took me at a young age when we came to the United States to caucus, because they understood that for the first time they were getting that opportunity, and they wanted to raise a generation that never took that for granted. So thank you all for being here. Let's not take our vote for granted, and let's not take this opportunity to elect a president who will get us the America we deserve for granted.